The next thing we're going to be doing is mixing our resin. So you're going to follow the instructions on your specific resin. Mine is to mix equal parts of both. I have 2 plastic cups here, so I'll pour some into 1 cup. I'm just kind of guessing how much I'll need for my teddy bear. And then always shut your resin right after you open it so you don't mix up your lids. And then you'll never be able to open them again, which would really not be good. And so we're going to pour the same amount, for me anyway, into the next cup. I'm going to lift them up and just see. It also helps to get down at eye level with your cups if you want to be really exact. Okay, and then you're going to pour one into the other. You're really going to want to try and get all of your resin out of here, because if you're off by even not very much, it will not cure sometimes, and then your project will be ruined, which we don't want. Okay, and for this part, we have a popsicle stick, and we're going to stir our resin fairly slowly because you don't want to create too many bubbles in it. And this is the part that usually takes the longest because you want to make sure you mix it really well, or again, your resin won't cure. You want to scrape the bottoms, scrape the sides. And I like to mix mine for about 3 minutes longer than I think I need to, just to make sure it's really nice and mixed. And at first when you mix it, it kind of is a little bit creamy colored. It's a little bit thicker. You get kind of lines in it as you mix, but when it's nice and mixed, it will go away. It will be a lot more liquidy. It'll be easier to pour when you do pour it, and you won't have the lines in it from your mixing. So I like to just mix every direction in circles and lines. It's a lot more clear now. It's a lot more liquidy. There are a lot of tiny micro bubbles in it right now, but the resin I use is actually really good for curing really, really clear. All the bubbles seem to come to the top while it's curing. So I'm not really concerned about that. If you are, you can let your resin just sit on the table for about 5 minutes, and a lot of those bubbles will just come to the top and pop, and you won't have to worry about it. I have my mold right here, and I'm going to pour this very, very, very slowly. because then I know that the ears will get filled up. There won't be any air bubbles in there, and it will minimize any other air bubbles that might occur. And I just really have the tiniest stream. It's about half full right now. And from using this mold before, I know that if we're going to get any bubbles in it, we're going to get some bubbles right under the teddy bear's chin. So I'm going to take my popsicle stick and I'm just going to work it up and down and kind of pull any of those little tiny bubbles out of the work. And now I will just continue pouring until I'm at the top of the mold, and I'll still pour nice and slowly. I have barely any resin left over. If I had a bit more, I would pour it into something else so I don't waste it. But I really have barely any, so I'm just gonna leave that to cure in the cup and I will throw that out in the morning. I'll just gently squeeze my mold a little bit. And now my resin will take about 24 hours to cure before I'll take it out. And you can see how yours is doing. Sometimes it cures faster, sometimes it takes longer.
So now we're just going to take it out of the silicone mold and see how it looks. Can be a little tricky, especially around the head, because the head is really big on this teddy bear. And that's really the hardest part of it. But it already looks really nice. Okay, this is how the teddy bear looks. So I think it's super cute already. There's a few tiny micro bubbles under the chin, but really through the whole teddy bear it's crystal clear. And it almost looks like one of those fancy crystal animals that you can buy. And now that we have him out, we're going to make some flowers to put on him out of polymer clay. And for this part of the craft, you're going to need some wax paper, which I have right here, so it doesn't stick. And I have my polymer clay right here. I have some clay tools over here to use. I have a little round cutter, which I might use. I have a crafting knife, which is really great for detail work. So I've picked out these colors for now that are going to be my flowers. I have a really pretty yellow, a coral sort of color, and a light pink. For my centers, I'm going to use kind of a light beigey tan color. Some of these are new, so I'm going to have to open up the packaging before I can use them. I'm going to start with this amount. I think this will probably be good for how many flowers I want to make of each color. It's probably actually too much, but you always have to work your polymer clay with your fingers and really warm it up. It'll get nice and stretchy and easier to work with. Sometimes you get bad polymer clay, and no matter what you do to it, it just simply does not work. It's hard, it's crumbly. You can put it in a Ziploc bag and stick it in a glass of warm water, and if that doesn't fix it, it's unfortunately probably best to put it in the garbage. But I've always had really good luck with these small little kits from Amazon that have different polymer clay colors in it. And Sculpty. And if you work your clay too much, I find it gets too sticky, gets hard to work with. So just see how you like it. But it should be nice and soft and really easy to squish with your fingers. I have the coral color now. Gotta get into it. I took too much last time, so this time I will take a little bit less. I'm just pressing it down. If you have a little tiny rolling pin, you can use that. I don't think I'll need to get out my rolling pin for this though. And I'm just going to use my little round cutter here. I'm going to use the back of it because it's a bit wider. And I think that's the shape I want. Okay, I got 10 circles here. We're going to try and pull it up, but leave the circles down. Sometimes that doesn't work so well. Kind of pick them out of here. If they get too bent out of shape, I won't use them. We'll do it again. This time we're going to make a different shape for our flowers. Instead of the pointy petals, we're going to do a rounded petal. So you're going to take your little rounds of clay and you're going to push in the ends to make it a petal shape, like a triangle on the one end. Then we're going to put it down. And we're going to repeat that. Sometimes you gotta press it down a little bit. And we have another petal. Carefully remove it. That's how it looks so far. It's got 1, 2, 3 petals. And again, I'm going to indent the center just a tiny bit. And we're going to add our little circle to the middle. These are 3 flowers currently. Now I'll be making 5 more flowers using this exact same technique. These are my finished flowers. There's the 6 pink kind of colored ones that I'm going to be using. The 2 yellow ones I decided not to use for this project. Now I think I'm going to do some leaves. Now I'm just pressing down the green clay with my finger to get it to the thickness I want. If you want to use a rolling pin, feel free. I'm going to cut out 2 leaf shapes just with my little art knife here. So I kind of cut a triangle and a more rounded base, and I connect it. Just using my knife to even it out, give it a nice shape, because this green is really soft right now. So it's kind of tricky to work with, and I'm just pressing my finger up and down to get out this one little wrinkle on the top of it, and that will take care of it. Now I'm just giving the end a little twist, because I think that's a nice shape for a leaf. I'm gonna try and do similarly on this one. I have 2 leaves right now. I'm going to want to give it a little bit of texture with my knife. I'm going to go along the leaf, pressing gently, and then in diagonals off of the center stem. That's how my leaves look. Now I was thinking about doing a few berries, so I'm going to use red for my berries. I'm going to have to open this one up as well. I really do not need very much. I'm just rolling it to make it nice and round. Make sure I get all the creases out. I got 1 berry. And I'm going to try and make these all very similar in size. Okay. probably not going to use these 2 yellow flowers. They're not really the vibe I was going for, and not really the color I wanted either. It almost seems a little tiny bit green to me. But this clay cooks at 250, and I'll cook it for about 12 minutes probably. So make sure you preheat your oven. Cook your clay at whatever temperature it says. Sometimes it has different temperature depending on what brand you use. And then I'll see you back here. Alright, these just got out of the oven. I let them cool down for a few minutes so they're not hot anymore. I have some Gorilla Glue and I have some Crazy Glue. I'm going to try with the Gorilla Glue first and see how that works, and if it doesn't work great, I'm going to go with the Crazy Glue. And here's my teddy bear. And I'm going to figure out just where I think they would look best, and I'm going to glue them down. Okay, this is the finished product. It took a little over 25 hours with curing time. It cost me less than $1 to make it. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Thank you.